Hello. Good evening, everybody. We'll start with the national anthem. I would request everybody to please stand up.
Janagana mana adinayaka Jaya he Bharata Bhagya Vidata Punjab Sindh Gujarat Maratha Dravina Utkala Banga Vindhya Himachala Yamuna Ganga Uchchala Jala Sitaranga तब शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तब जय दाता जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे Jaya 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 He Jai Hind.
Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, dear friends and family. So today it is a room full of family and friends. Even the esteemed guests, Dr. Nageshwar Reddy, Mr. BVR Mohan Reddy, and Mr. Padmanabhaya. They're all like family for us. And it is such an honor that we have a room full of so many esteemed guests, well-wishers, friends and family gathered to bless Sanjana today. And from the bottom of our heart, we would like to thank you. We really appreciate it. I remember when I was inviting guests, they mentioned how the three dignitaries that are our chief guests and guest of honor, they were amazed how even getting them for 5 minutes is impossible, and we have got them today, this evening. So my answer to that is their family, and thank you so much. And thank you everybody for being here today. It means a lot to us. So Sanjana, a 14-year-old, absolutely has a great passion for writing, and she started writing at a very young age. It's her third grade teacher, Miss Rosaline ma'am, who she thanks in that book, who inspired her to start writing. And today, at 14, she has her first published book, and that is all thanks to her teacher, English teacher, Rosaline ma'am, and her grandfather, who constantly supports her. The other thing that I'm exceedingly proud about is that she was very clear that she would write this book and all the proceeds will go towards a government school library that she has adopted. So the Saturdays when she does not have school, she goes there, she reads to them. She works on building their library, adding shelves, adding books, and she hopes that with these book proceeds, she will go on to not just build this government school, but many other libraries as well. Because she feels she is blessed to have got access to books, to reading, to education, and she has this endeavor at a very early age that she wants to support that. So without much ado, I would like to request our chief guests and guests of honor if they can come forward for the lighting of the lamp. And my father as well. I would now like to request Dr. Nageshwar Reddy, Mr. BVR Mohan Reddy, and Mr. Padmanabhaya to please come on stage. Yeah, please. And Dad, yes. And Lieutenant General Hari Prasad as well, my father. No, you go. Come on. Now I'll ask Ms. Sanjana to welcome Dr. Nageshwar Reddy with the terrenium. You can sit. Now I would request my mom and Sanjana's grandmother, Mrs. Lakshmi Hari Prasad, to welcome Mr. BVR Mohan Reddy with the terrenium. I would like to request Lieutenant General Hari Prasad, my father and Sanjana's grandfather, to welcome Mr. Padmanabhaya with flower bouquets. Terrenium, sorry.
It grows with the author.
So now we will play a short video of Sanjana's work at the library. Sorry, I don't know if you can see, but sorry. It's an angle that you can't see it.
Sanjana. I'm in 8th grade in Oak Ridge International School. In my school, I had a community project, and my project was to make a library for a government school. I've always loved reading since a young age, and I found libraries such a comfort place for me. I feel even government school children feel the same way, but they don't have the access and privilege such as me to get the proper books and library. So I wanted to give that to them. By buying enough books and shelves, I made the library. By getting all the supplies, I wrote this book. This book is called Musings of a Teenage Girl. By getting enough sales and selling this book, I want to get enough money to make proper library for the government school children and for them to love and read books such as me.
If you want any more books, you can ask me what type of books you want.
Ano mo particular mo shop ke din natin pustakaan ko andi konచెం కష్టం రావు అందుకని మన గవర్నమెంట్ స్కూల్ పిల్లల కోసము ఇక్కడ అర్థం కూడా బాగా చదువుకోవాలి అండి తనకి నచ్చిన కొన్ని బుక్స్ ఇచ్చి మనకి లైబ్రరీని సెటప్ చేశారు.
बहुत अच्छा है, इंग्लिश बहुत अच्छा बात करते हैं.
So I hope the children liked it, and I hope they can give me more ideas of what to do for this library and what books they like, because I still need to fill up some more books. So if they have any ideas for me to give more to the library, I want to like that.
Now I would request our chief guests and guests of honor, as well as my father, to come forward for the unveiling of the book. Now I would request Sanjana to come here and speak a little bit about herself and her book.
Hi, thank you first of all for coming today. It means a lot to me, even for the people who haven't come yet, but still pre-purchased my book. It means the world to me, and I appreciate it a lot. A little bit about me. I'm 14 years old. I'm in 8th grade in Oak Ridge International School. I like things such as theater, singing, films, and books. I've always loved literature since a young age and always loved writing fantasy novels and romance novels as well. But I never had an interest of poetry up until I met my teacher, Rosalind ma'am. She had a sassiness and a perkiness that I just absolutely loved. And she was the first teacher that made me feel good about myself and the way I was writing. She always appreciated my work, and I appreciated her as a person. During my syllabus, I had poetry as a subject. I was terrified by it because I thought I wasn't good at it. Of course, I was good at it, probably in the first grade, but I think everybody was good at poetry in the first grade. Like, you just have to rhyme flower with power and then va va va, you're a poet. But in 7th grade, it's very much harder. So I was kind of terrified. But as soon as I wrote the words, it just fell out like such a beautiful poem. I said all the emotions in one poetry format, and it just was like an epiphany. It was like a manifestation. I felt like I finally found my calling, which was poetry. And Rosalind ma'am made me feel good that poetry was my thing. She even loved it as much as I did, and then I continued writing like no other. Now, during the time when I'm in Oak Ridge International School, there was an announcement for my community project. My project, of course, as we saw in the video, was to make a library for a government school. I love reading since a young age, and I feel even government school children feel the same way about reading, that they love it, but they don't have the opportunities as me, as a very rich and opportunistic person, to have those stuff. So I wanted to give that to them. By making the supplies and getting the money that I needed, I thought about an idea to make a book. Both me and my mom thought of it as a unique way to receive funds. Mostly my mom's idea, because she's amazing. But I just felt lovely during doing books, and as my first thing ever, and as it helped the children, that's how Musings of a Teenage Girl became. A little bit about Musings of a Teenage Girl. And the genre aspect of it. It is quite dark and kind of melancholic, but you can also give some sort of serotonin to it. It has pathways of ups and downs of teenagehood. I wanted to give the readers that read this book a roller coaster ride of emotions, because that's how teenage life is, a bunch of ups and downs that you go through. In my books, I have multiple genres of emotions such as heartbreak, love, loss, and hope. And I just feel that teenage life, even though it sounds simple to adults, but it's actually quite hard if you're a teenager yourself. I feel teenagers will love this book and also understand the way of writing, and even poetry lovers will like it as well, because I hope they do. It's a poetry book. But I just hope overall everybody will love it, and even the adults who struggle with teenage life of being a mother or a father and want to relate to their children, and even the adults that reminisce of teenage life. I hope it finds comfort within everybody that reads this book. And that's about it. I just want to thank you again for coming here today. And if you buy this book, all of the money will go to the government school to help them get a wonderful library that they need and find comfort in. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Now I'd like to take a few minutes to give a brief introduction to Dr. Nageshwar Reddy. His illustrious career, everybody is aware of. He has every prestigious award and exceptional medical contributions. He has both the Padma Shri and the Padma Bhushan awards. It's amazing that for Sanjana, her chief guest and her guest of honor are all Padma Bhushan, Padma Shri, VVS, VVSM, all the highest awards. I feel like she is so young, she might not even realize what a moment this is. And again, on her behalf, we would absolutely want to thank you all for being here. Dr. Nageshwar Reddy, again, exceptionally talented, but I would talk about it from more an emotional angle. So he is a brother, a younger brother to my mother. His father, Bhaskar Reddy uncle, is somebody that my mom has grown up with and the family. So we have a long association. I was born knowing them all my life. And today, my mother sees Bhaskar Reddy uncle in Nageshwar Reddy uncle and holds a very, very special spot for him. Yeah, thank you so much, uncle. He flew all the way, took an early flight just to make to this event. For you and all the two illustrious dignitaries being here, I know what an effort it is to come and really appreciate it. I would request Nageshwar Reddy uncle to please come on the dais and say a few words.
Thank you, Rekha. As doctors, we are very wary of social functions. We just talk in medical conferences with slides and so on. So when I was asked, I was a little worried whether I should actually come, change my flight and so on. But there are two reasons why I accepted. First is when Bujjaka and Haribaba came, I can't refuse, they're like brother and sister, so it's almost impossible. And second, of course, the name Sanjana is very dear to me. So when Sanjana came up, it had to be that I had to come. In fact, what happens is when we get books like this, especially for me, I'm a very non-literary person. I read very little of literature, other than medical. So when book like this comes, usually we take it, keep it on the desk and leave it off. Especially poems, they're beyond my brain, so I just leave it off. But this time, because I had to come here, I read this. I read it on the way from Delhi to here, and my mind was blown off. It was mind-blowing. I mean, you're 14 years?
Yeah.
Sure?
Yeah.
Can't believe that a 14-year-old girl can write like this. This shows her effort, her dedication, and of course, the talent that she's got. In fact, I was reading this book in the flight, and I was in the Indigo flight, so the guy next to me was, sometimes they read your books also when you're reading. So he was reading this book all the time, and he actually took it from me. He was a professor of liberal arts in Ashoka University coming here. So he took this book and he said he was very fascinated, fantastic. And it took me some effort to get it back from him. Half an hour he kept it. And then he told, must be a famous author or something. I told him it's a 14-year-old girl. So he asked me to make sure it's really a 14-year-old girl who's written this. I think if you actually, I don't know how many of you have gone through this book. There is several chapters, one on nature, one on melancholy, one on reflections, love, heartbreak, and of course wound healing. And that's several chapters. And I liked some of this very particularly, so I thought I'll read one or two of these chapters. I can't judge the English because I'm not so good. Carol keeps criticizing me for my English, but I can at least judge the content, and the content is fantastic. So let me read one particular poem I found extremely good. It comes in the nature. It's called The Art of Noticing. The Art of Noticing. I see beauty in everything, even in tiny ants crawling in the dirt, the pimples on my skin, and the dying plants on my balcony. I find everything quite pretty. Sure, some things might surprise me, but in little details, everything is unique. It's like a painting, you can't see the whole picture until you look at it up close. I've learned that God made this entire planet and shaped us perfectly. So why not accept every bit of ourselves and the life we are given and the life fully? We only live once after all. Fantastic, a 14-year-old girl writing this. And there are several other small snippets I like to, because this is, very moving, this whole book. There's a little melancholy, as you said, but I think there's also a lot of brightness in this. There's another poem called In My Dream. In your dream, you see a person who will take you out on a picnic and dance under the moonlight. And that will happen. That will happen very fast. The way you're growing, it will happen. A teenage girl's diary, it's a melancholy, but some of the thoughts here are like somebody who's 70 or 80 years old, they keep, in fact, the professor from Ashoka University promised I promised I'll send him a copy. I took his address, because, so this is another one on I Pray. It's very interesting. It says that of course it's a big poem, but it says that she used to pray for God, but then found contradictory things. As a naive little kid, I believed in God, believed in Him. But nothing ever came true, all the promises. Because wishes don't work. It's just part of the imagination I was given in my childhood. I mean, this is again very philosophical, that a child dreams of many things. And when they never come true, she thinks that wishes are just dreams, they don't come true. Again, I think it's very moving, this one. I made some dog hold this thing breaks. I'm sorry, but this is an important book for me, so I keep it. You call yourself a anti-hero, but you're actually a hero. And I think the innocence of childhood comes out in one of these poems that, again, listen to this, very interesting. You have to sort of think about it. My younger self was so pure, so kind. Now I have become a monster I told I would not become. My perfect picture turns into dark canvas of imperfection. I changed so much since you last saw me, little one. So a little girl growing up and probably seeing her grandparents, somebody after a long time. Every candle I blow out on my birthday now will be another year of wasted potential. I wish I could have been what you wanted. This is also very true, because this happens when I see my grandchild. When she's very small, 2 years, 3 years, very cute. When they grow a little older, 6, 7, they start appearing different. And by 14, 15, they're rebellious, you wish that they were very young as they were. And this reflects this very much. And I think you're a bit of a loner because you're like a wallflower watching what happens everywhere. Yeah.
I got interested by a movie called Perks of Being a Wallflower, which is about social acceptance and wanted to be accepted, but you're very lonely and you don't know how to communicate. So that's how
I think that reflects it very well in this. And the poem on the youngest child says that I am just a 14-year-old teenage girl with a soul of a 40-year-old person. Actually, I have a soul of a 70-year-old person. This is all very, very interesting. And you say you're a moth, but I think you're a butterfly. Yeah. And perfection, another very, very interesting perfection. Just look at this. Again, I'm reading only part of this poem. It says, I seek the dream to be perfect. I feel the back of my mind this watch saying that you cannot be perfect. You are perfect. You are perfect. I'll tell you this. And I think similarly, like the broken self-image, a very interesting thing. And then one of the most interesting poems I found is this. This is again for those who are involved in public speaking. I think Mohan and Padma Garu will realize this. It's titled Heart Jitters. What happens when somebody goes for the first time to speak on a stage in a public? And this again, I think it was very, very mature. I never realized. It says that she had to speak in front of a whole grade. I never felt immense pressure to speak. She thought she had the talent. I thought it was a talent I possessed, not to be selfish about it. Feel lucky to have a gift. I practiced all night for this speech, even though it was just simple words. I studied it by heart. I've always been a perfectionist, but as I walk on the stage, my vision was blurry. Even though I couldn't see anyone's face, I saw them staring at me. And then finally she says that after my speech, I broke down into tears behind the curtain, losing it over a few lines. Even though people thought it was good, I knew they were trying to be friendly. And because that was the worst thing I ever said, I felt gibberish, that not even a language. And that was the first fright on stage in my life. You didn't look like this at all today. You're so confident. So I think there are many, I think every single poem is fantastic. The one on my love, mine, all mine, and I think it's beyond your age. I can't imagine that you've written all this. It's something unimaginable. And I really enjoyed every single poem. And as you keep reading it, every line comes out differently each time. I think this is something that you should keep reading. This, of course, you want to be I think several things, artist and so on. But what I like about what you're going to do is the philanthropy part. So much of the book, I think all the proceedings of the book are being given to a library in a government school. And what I urge all of you is not only to buy these books, but buy many of them each. I want all those 300 books to be completed today, so that the second printing goes next week itself. And I'm sure it will be done, because this book has all the value it has got. And before I end, Sanjana, I've got a small poem myself. I don't know whether Carol will criticize my English, but this is what I can always.
Wait to hear it.
So, Sanjana, you are not an anti-hero, but a true hero of your story. A rare gem destined for higher glory. I'm matching. Your every poem is for the soul. The book is a super package as a whole. I wish you success from all my heart, and may this book top the charts. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think I'd like to thank Rekha, Shashi, Haribhava and Bujaka for giving me this opportunity. Not to be here, I mean this is okay, but I think the opportunity to read something so fantastic and then get inspired by this. Thank you very much.
Oh, that is extremely touching and moving, Nagi uncle. I'll go back to my own personal reference to you. I cannot believe that you actually read these poems in such detail and understood it in such depth. No, you did amazingly well. Really, really appreciating the effort and heart-touching. Thank you so much. Means a lot. And now I will ask my father, Lieutenant General Hari Prasad, to please come forward and introduce our other guest of honor, BVR Mohan Reddy.
Honorable guests of honor, our chief guest, and dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, BVR Mohan Reddy, I don't think needs any introduction here, because he's such a well-known person anything that I say, you already know it, you know. So really, to me, I would say more than introducing what he has done and what he has achieved, all of you are fully aware. He's a very, very well-known person, not only in Hyderabad, but all over the country and abroad. I'll just recollect back long time, sometime in the 90s. That time I was a colonel and about to be a brigadier when Mohan had just ventured into this area, and one day he came and told me, saying, Hari, I'm setting up my own business now and I'm starting. So he says, very good and well done Mohan, and all the best. A little realizing that one day he would be one of the top industrialists in the IT sector, and what I had imagined, I think he's gone, 200 miles ahead, and he's achieved a tremendous success. He's the founder and chairman of SIANT. And from scratch, I would say, with able support of Suchi, actually I have been witness to the whole thing, and I've seen how this company has phenomenally risen. It's like a phoenix rising from the ashes, And the way the company has grown now, it's a well-known name in the IT industry, not only in India, but all over the world. They've got branches all over. And I'm sure as time comes, it'll achieve much more, because now I'm reading them going into artificial intelligence, so many other aspects of the sector. Sky is the limit as far as I'm concerned. And I know with his guidance, the moon is the place that they will land up. I remember when Dr. Abdul Kalam, he used to meet me a number of times as an army commander. So he just gave me one piece of advice. Hari, aim for the moon, you'll reach somewhere there. So that's what I would say Mohan is trying to reach. He's reaching somewhere there near the moon. And I wish him and his company all the best. As you know, he's a known phenomenon in the IT field. And in many areas, he's achieved a lot of success. And what they have developed, I think a lot of other companies are copying. For me, it's more a personal association with him. I'm a bawa to him and to Suchaka. So that makes all the difference, and the attachment that we've had over the years, I think still stands, and we still always will remember him. For me, they're family, and that is the short end of the whole thing. And I only wish Mohan, Suchi and SIANT much more success, and may you become the biggest IT company in the whole universe. We would be very happy to see that. And thank you, Mohan, for coming. We are honored that you are here. Thank you.
Dr. Nageshwar Reddy, Shri Padmanabha Garu, General Hari Prasad, and our dear Sanjana, her family, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to all of you. I am not a public speaker as what people thought about me. I spend, like Dr. Nageshwar Reddy does, a fairly large amount of time on where we are good at. He does that on medicine, I spend my time on technology. But when Hari came and said that Suchi and I had to be here this evening and I had to speak, I was honestly very reluctant to do that. But the only reason I decided to do is because the affection that I've seen from Bujaka, Hari Baba and the family for over 50 years since I know them, and to encourage this young lady, Sanjana. I truly am delighted, Sanjana, that you became a poet at the age of 13. It was actually very rare do you find teenagers becoming publishers and publishing books by a fairly well-known publisher. I think it's EHS, yeah, one of them, I guess. And I very patiently, didn't take too much time, also read the 28 poems that Sanjana wrote. And certainly, I think, the musings of the teenage girl reflects very much into what Sanjana is. That's what I thought. It's a great reflection that she really explores the depth and depth of literature. And also some of the statements that she made, as Dr. Nagesh Reddy pointed out, are very thought-provoking. Only when they become thought-provoking, you start reading them one more time to see, can I understand more about it? That's very impressive, Sanjana. That's very impressive. Let's give a round of applause to Sanjana.
Thank you.
Actually, I would know each one of those poems that Dr. Nagesh Reddy talked, but I think the two sets that you had, Sanjana, on the void and the broken self-reflection, those attracted my attention. It certainly, as I said, is a good reflection of your depth of thinking. And thereafter, if you look at those two other chapters on Dear Heartbreak and the Time Heals All the Wounds, that gives you shades of what typically the youngsters, the teenagers suffer as insecurity, and how thereafter they find, of course, their inner strength to fight them out. Both of them are a strong reflection on those two chapters, I thought. Certainly, at one poem that I went up and down for a while is this poem on illuminarity. Get that right? Illuminosity. And it's a poem all about her feelings. And it's a fairly short one. Let me read this for you. I feel as if I am healed now, and my scars are going away gradually. I do not know what made the pain stop. Probably new people or new school. But these, in this sense of melancholy, I feel like me once again. It has been ages since I felt like that. I feel that if that boost of melancholy as me all along, melancholy was me all along, but I was too blinded by the hurtful darkness to find it. But now it is here in my life, and that is happiness. Happiness is back with you, Sanjana. So, as much as I disclosed, I'm a technology guy, and I'm sure all of you know about generative AI. So I went and submitted this poem back to generative AI, asking the OpenAI to comment on this poem. And here are the comments that I got, and I'm truly reading them out. It's a strong sense of emotion and introspection. That's what it highlighted. And the imagery, the use of imagery related to scars and healing conveys a sense of past pain. That's what it said. But I guess, what to me is, it's amazing that a 13-year-old could write a book of this nature. Certainly a thought-provoking book for all of us as where we are. And certainly I think what Sanjana requires is A, more amount of encouragement, and B, mentorship too. I think as we grow, certainly that becomes extremely important. I know the teacher who helped us in early days is not here today, but I think I'll make a strong recommendation, and that's what we have seen leaders growing. In every skill that we have seen, you have mentorship, the pace at which people scale themselves is much better. So these are the two takeaways for Sanjana's parents. And finally, I'll conclude with what I love saying. I am past. What I'm seeing in front of me in Sanjana is my future. And the fact that I see her shining eyes and her smiling face makes me believe that she is really my future. Thank you very much, and God bless you, Sanjana.
Oh wow, I mean this is absolutely heart-touching. Mohan uncle, I mean I don't have words. I think both of you so far have made, making, I can see Sanjana emotional and me emotional for sure. Really, really appreciative, and I mean it's just amazing how much time you took and how much thought and effort that has gone to understand this book and understand the author. So thankful. Once again. And now I would like to invite Shashi, Sanjana's father, to please come and introduce Mr. Padmanabhaya.
So I have to write something down about Mr. Padmanabhaya Garu. I know many of you might have already known his contributions to the nation, but let me first thank every one of you here. It's been an honor for us to introduce Sanjana to the world of literature, especially poems at such a young age. So this evening is made even more special as we joined by Dr. Nageshwar Reddy Garu, VVR Mohan Reddy Garu, and Padmanabhaya Garu. Among them, I wish to welcome this point Mr. Padmanabhaya Garu, a true luminary in our community. I think many of you might have not known about him, but he is a distinguished figure in the Indian civil service. He is known for his Padmanabhaya committee, which was behind, I would say, bringing an order in the police system. And he is also a proud recipient of Padma Bhushan Award. And so I would like to welcome him now. He may also give some of his vision and based on many, many years of public service, many, many years of his own experience to help youngsters like Sanjana, grow and become somebody more contributing to this community as well as to our nation. Yeah, thank you.
Dr. Nageshwar Reddy Garu, Shri Mohan Reddy Garu, my friend General Har Prasad Garu, the cynosure of this evening, Shri Baby, I would call her Baby only, Sanjana, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I think the greatest tribute you can pay Sanjana is that she has converted a surgeon who only uses scissors and a hard-boiled businessman like Mr. Mohan Reddy and a staid civil servant like me appreciate and read her poetry, especially these two gentlemen, I have known Nageshwar Reddy Garu and Mohan Reddy Garu for quite some time, but I never thought that they can read poetry and also appreciate poetry, Sorry, I'm not being felicitous. So, the greatest achievement of Sanjana is that she converted 3 of these people into a sort of poetry readers. And that is a great achievement, I must tell you, Sanjana. Well, friends, I have 2 handicaps to speak from here. One is that These people have known Sanjana from her childhood. I didn't have that benefit. I have not known her. And there are a lot of family relations, so they know her temperament, her nature and all those things. And so perhaps they can equate her poetry with what they see in her character and all that. So I miss that. But as an outsider, for the first time after I read the poetry, I again repeat, her poetry is universal. I thought it's only a sort of, but three different people have appreciated from three different lives. And that is a reflection of the universality of her poetry, I think that is great. And the book is titled Musings of a Teenage Girl. Now, teenage is a unique period of life. You are neither child nor adult. Every season, there are changes. You are developing physically, behaviorally, emotionally, and cognitively. The life of a 14-year-old girl is filled with a lot of apprehensions and worries and aspirations. I think all these three aspects she brought out in her poetry, the various pieces which she has written. Someone has said that teenage is not a stage of life, like adulthood and old age and all that. It is a state of mind, a vigor of emotions. It is the freshness of the deep springs of life. Its message is to live young, live strong, and live a life of passionate work. I think that's what a teenager is. You see, that's why managing teenagers is a problem. People talk of teenage angst and teenage rebellion, in the families. So, here is a teenager, all its colors, psychedelic colors, she brought out these things, greatly. Like the two other gentlemen, I also read some of her poems. And I must tell you, when Nageshwari Garu said about the little things, I notice little things or whatever it is. The title of that is The Little Things, you said. In that she writes, I see beauty in everything. Yeah, art of noticing. I see beauty in everything, even in the tiny ants crawling in the dirt. And she continues later, but in the little details, everything is unique. The poem really expresses the wisdom of our scriptures in simple words. It continues the poem. I have learned that God made the entire planet and shaped us perfectly. So why not accept every bit of ourselves and the life we were given and live fully? What a philosophical thought, I read a lot of these WhatsApp messages people send. And in that, a lot of these things come about the beauty of nature. Small things. What beauty is there in ants and in this one? You must go into the detail, I think I was very impressed by that. Then another poem, I Pray. I think we share the same, that's why I said universality. She says, I wished upon every little thing, but nothing ever came true. Because wishes don't work. It won't ever work. That's what she says. In a third poem, An Ugly Crier, she says, everyone stops me in my path as I have to be fine and great all the time. This is what we expect from people. You have to be fine and you have to be great all the time. And she continues, losing all, after writing that she cannot be, she continues, losing all hope in the world as we know it. Another piece I liked is Perks of Being a Wallflower. Again, we reflect on the same thing. And then the broken self-image, what she has written. She questions, why am I like this? She describes the agony of many changes affecting her psyche. But I would like to tell her that along with agony, there is also ecstasy in teenage. You have only to discover it. Sanjana, you have written the title is A Hopeless Romantic. I think you may be a hopeless romantic, But you are perfect, because you wanted to be perfect. In one of the poems you say, I want to, and you are perfect, there is no doubt, Finally, I would like to say that her command over the language is great. Her, the felicity of phrase is wonderful. And, but what I found is, ultimately I thought I would mention this, I find that this particular collection, her very first collection, has a heavy tilt in favor of poems of melancholy. But I wish to tell Sanjana that there is a great thrill, fun and happiness too in life, even in the life of a teenager. So life has got its agony as well as its ecstasy, as I mentioned. Since you possess a sunny disposition, of all your friends describe, you should try to write about the sunny side of teenage life also. So ultimately I must say, her sense of philanthropy and social work, and she is going to devote and donate all the proceeds of this to bringing up a library in a government school. You know how government schools are. It's a great idea. I think it would be very successful. It would further lead to a movement of libraries in various government schools, So, congratulations to you. And ultimately, I would say, on a Sunday evening in a far-off place like this, so many people have come. I think you have sort of brought them out of their closets. So it's great. And to go back to your poetry about facing the crowd, you said stage fright. After having heard you from here, nobody would think that you ever have stage fright, So I think you should forget about that. And hearty congratulations to you. And I look forward for your next book very soon, But a little less of melancholy and something more, Thank you for hearing me. Thank you very much.
Again, Mr. Padmanabhaya Garu, Uncle, again, thank you so much. It's amazing that three very, very distinguished, renowned people, stalwarts, heavyweights, as you're called, publicly, read a 14-year-old's poem in such detail and understood the emotions behind it and expressed it so well. The only thing I can say is that Sanjana is absolutely blessed. Thank you so much. Again, I would also definitely would want to thank each one of you for being here. You all are family, our closest friends. Really appreciate it for coming and for supporting Sanjana. It means a lot to her. I hope this encourages her to write more, to contribute more towards society, and to do her best. I would ask my father to give a vote of thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank Dr. Nageshwar Reddy, our chief guest today, and the guests of honor, Mr. B.V.R. Mohan Reddy and Mr. Padmanabhaya Garu, for having graced this occasion and having spoken such nice words. And I am amazed that with different walks of life, they have found poetry so good and so heart-embracing, And the few good suggestions that they have given to Sanjana, I think will stand her in good stead. And soon we will see another volume coming up of her poetry, which will incorporate all the guidance that they have given. Once again, I would like to thank all the three of them for having come here, sir. You've taken your precious time. And I know nowadays everyone, especially all these on the dais, they're so busy in various vocations of life. It was indeed an honor for all of us, for the whole family, that you have come and blessed Sanjana, more important, and also appreciated her poetry. Thank you very much for this. Also, I would like to thank everyone all the ladies and gentlemen in the audience, you are all family to us, like Rekha said. We value and treasure your presence here. And I'm sure that each one of you, your presence itself will motivate Sanjana to do much better as she gets along. And she has the potential, and soon, God willing, I see her a great author and a poet in her. I've been telling her, start writing books. I think that's what people will more appreciate. Poems, people don't read very much, of course. They will read, well, if you give it to them. But by instinct, most of them read books. So hopefully, we'll see a nice book written by her as we go along. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you all of us for coming.
Please join us for high tea. And Sanjana will be signing the books outside at the entrance. So if you'd like to take a copy, she'll be more than happy to personally sign it for you. Thank you once again for being here.